Welcome to Graveyard Crypto. Today's date is January 29th. The current price of Bitcoin is at $34,144. Ethereum is at $1,359. Total market cap is at $1 trillion even. And Bitcoin dominance is at 63.2%. So this week, there's been a lot of stuff going on, and I guess we'll go right into it where not really the crypto that's been making the big noise, but more of the stock market, Wallstreet Bets, GameStop, and basically what has happened where they found a short out against GameStop. And let's be real, like, I love GameStop. I don't know, you guys, any of you guys gamers?
A little. I mostly download these days, though.
Okay, right. There, see, like you just said, mostly download. See, and that's why I say I personally like to buy the games, because if I want to lend it out to somebody or I want to maybe sell it, I can get money back from it. Where if you download it, you're not really going to have that option. But like you said, most people, I have other friends, they just download the games. What does that do? It makes GameStop basically not a valuable company. And I don't know what other things they provide. They sell some merchandise and stuff like that. So there was a short out against GameStop. And it was like, what, a naked short, they call it. And it was like 140% of.
It was just about 140%, yeah.
Right. So somebody saw that and says, how can you short something 140%? Like, that doesn't really, I guess.
Well, with that 140% meaning that there was 140% of the supply of shares out being shorted. So more than the even shares that exist were being shorted.
Right. So how to,
I understood that correctly.
So then, they have this group, Wallstreet Bets on Reddit, where these guys that they basically sit and communicate this stuff, and somebody found out this information, and they all decided, like, let's buy up GameStop. And I remember seeing the price of GameStop when it was at $40, and it was up 10 points up from 30. And I said, what the hell is going on with this thing? Like, why is it going up so high? And then as you see more and more into it, they basically rode the price up. I mean, I don't know what the price is now. I think it's like $330. But yesterday was a really big deal, because I use Robinhood. I don't know about you guys. If you guys use Robinhood, I used Robinhood. Let's just say.
Same here, past tense. Yeah, used to.
Right.
Short relationship.
So I liked Robinhood. I thought it was really easy to use. Everything was good. Like, I even had some crypto on there that I used to trade. I didn't actually, not like I was storing it or anything like that. But I had stuff on there, and I was like, oh, this, it's very convenient, whatever. And what Robinhood decided to do was prevent people from buying GameStop, AMC, basically all the stocks that were being talked about on Reddit. They decided to halt buying it. And they allowed selling it, even though I think for certain people it sold, they weren't allowing that either. I don't know. There was a lot of stories.
I saw some people claiming that there were automatic sales going through, that Robinhood just said, sorry, we're selling your stock.
Right. So all this stuff going on, and if you can't buy something, what is that going to do? It's just going to, and you can only sell it. You're going to basically either cause FUD, or you're going to have people starting to sell their shares, driving the price down, helping the people. Because what was it? Was it Melvin Capital or something like that?
Marvin, something like that.
So, yeah, Melvin. Isn't it like a wedgie? Like from Bill and Ted.
Swirly Capital.
Like Bill and Ted Action Adventure. Melvin, and that was the Grim Reaper or something. I don't know. Anyway, so company had like one of the biggest shorts out against it, and they basically went bankrupt, right? Or like they lost all their money. They were all
the collateral they had to finance that short went away, and then some. Yeah.
So they had to get bailed out, and the person that bailed them out was Citadel, right? Who I think Steve Cohen, owner of the new owner of the Mets, and some other people, which I think are all a part of that group, that was bailed out, I think, in 2008 from the financial collapse. They bailed out Melvin. And from what I gather, like, again, this is all hearsay. We don't really know the actual story, but there's a lot of stuff going on about this where.
Remember what happened with Cohen at the time? I looked this up today. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
He got caught doing whatever he was doing illegally during the GFC 12 years ago or whatever. He paid 1.8 billion in fines, so he didn't have to do jail time.
Yeah, and he probably
Speed us up to today. He's the company bailing out Melvin, or whoever that Marvin Capital was, but he also bailed out Robinhood because they had a liquidity problem.
Yeah.
So he was on both sides bailing them out of this situation, you know?
And also, I think they're big time either investors or users with Robinhood. And it just seems kind of funny that a company that bailed out the company that, you know, basically went bankrupt or was going bankrupt, and then their associated or somehow tied to Robinhood, all of a sudden they stopped the buys of GameStop and all this other stuff. And, you know, this kind of goes to the whole DeFi thing, which we can talk about in a few, but it's just, it makes me so angry because people talk about the game being rigged. And, you know, this is why we all talk about Bitcoin in a sense, you know, getting out of, I guess, the system or whatever, you know, it's just, it just makes my blood boil because, you know, here they are as retail investors, right? They go in, they have open conversations, public conversations for everybody to see about this, and they run the stock up versus, and then all of a sudden you got people like the head of NASDAQ, and you have like a bunch of other people, you know, coming saying like, oh, they need regulation and blah, blah, blah.
People need to go to jail, they were saying.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, they're playing.
People do need to go to jail, but not the Reddit people.
Right. And it's like, well, excuse me, they're playing the same game that these hedge funds have been playing for years, except the difference is they did publicly versus these hedge funds that you get 10 guys that are worth 10 billion each. You get $100 billion in that room that could literally manipulate the market themselves privately. You know, like, I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, it
makes sense to me. I heard, because I know what they did with the short is they took out their short positions, and then they announced publicly that they were taking out these short positions, which makes people sell the positions, and it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. They're manipulating the market. It's totally legal to do. Everything they were doing on the Wallstreet Bets forum was no different. They were publicly talking about what they wanted to do. And I think I was listening to Tim Pool's podcast earlier. One of the guys in there, I'll remember this phrase. He's like, people don't realize the chains they're wearing until they try to move. And this is the first time retail tried to make a move like that. And then all the bigger Wall Street entities really tugged on those chains, and they said no.
Yeah, they said you can't make money. You can't take the wealth from us.
It's not fair. They were like almost crying on TV.
Right, and it's crazy. It was like you said, that you see some billionaires crying on CNBC saying, "Oh, you can't do this. Like, they can't do this. This is wrong. These people need to go after these people. They need to." And it's like,
what a clown.
Like, and then I saw another thing too, where Portnoy, who was going after these people, like, these guys need to go to jail and blah blah blah. And then he's like, the new enemy of mine is the owner of the Mets. You know, he's a part of this. He's like, and then
saw that he was calling him out on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you see that Cohen's response?
I did. I don't remember what it was offhand.
He basically said, he's like, let's have this talk offline.
Yeah.
Like, I need to make a living too. It's like, wait, you need to make a living? Dude, you have more money than countries have. You need to make a living. Like, you've made a living. You've made a living for your family for the next 100.
It just shows how out of touch they are. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you need to
At least shut up. At least shut up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking common little engineer guy has to shop around a fucking DeFi to spin a profit. And you're over there collecting billions.
Yeah.
Legally being a criminal.
It's just, to me, like, it's just.
But I get his sentiment. He's just saying, listen,
that's just the game. He's playing the game.
Just a game.
He's playing the game, but don't sit there and sit and, you know, complain about and also stop people from playing the game. That's my biggest problem. It's not even that.
At least let it be the same rules. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't change the rules in the middle of, you know, like you said, like, you can't have a game and all of a sudden change the rules in the middle of the game. Like, no, like, you can't be like, oh, that 3-pointer I just shot him, yo, that's worth 8.
The emperor wears no clothes.
I'm beating you now. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, you can't do
Well,
that.
actually, it does work like that.
But that's what they're doing.
Actually, it does work like that.
That's the way it
And
worked
this
this
is-
time. In plain view, because like I know myself, people always say, and I've said it too, the system is rigged. Like we can tell it's rigged, not just financial system, but obviously in this case we're talking about that. But this was like a clear example of how it's rigged, and they just kept doubling down on it too.
All rigged.
All rigged.
Yeah.
You know, they really showed their cards, I feel like, this time. And I feel a lot of people, I mean, myself included, who maybe because I'm into crypto, I'm a little more awake to some of these things, and at least the kind of sovereign financial freedom I have by being able, you know, using Bitcoin and things like that. Still, I didn't realize, I guess, how bad it could really be and just how brazen they could be about it.
Yeah, and this kind of is the whole thing with Bitcoin, right? You have control of your own, you know, like nothing could shut you down, not necessarily like shut you down, but like the system's running constantly. Like now, I know exchanges are one thing, especially centralized exchanges, but that's why we talk about DeFi, decentralized exchanges. Like they don't shut down. They're not going to stop you from trading. They're not going to say, "Oh no, we need a circuit breaker to halt trading. Like the thing's going up too high. We need to slow things down." Like someone's losing a lot of money. Like it's a free market. That's what you need. Like that's true capitalism, is a free market. You don't want this crony capitalism, corporatism, whatever the hell you want to call whatever. Like let people compete. Like, you know, like don't just sit there and go like, "Oh, this guy's doing really good." And like, no, he's not allowed to do that. And
There's no unfair advantages, no bailouts.
Right. You know, and that's why I say no bailouts, none of this crap. Like
If that GameStop trade went the other way and everyone on Wallstreet Bets lost all their money, nobody would care.
no, they'd be like,
Nobody
"Oh,
would care. They would just lose their money.
that's what you get for making a risky move." That's what they would say.
Mm-hmm.
You risk, you know, and it still is risky. Listen, I would like when it started going over 100, 150, I was like, I'm not touching that thing. Like, you know, and I understand what they're doing. Like, I get it. Like, because even at one point I was like, that day I was like, I put a buy order in for some like not GameStop but AMC, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'll support the system. I'll throw some bucks into it just to run it up, just to give them, you know, to go along with it. But at the same rate, you know, I just worry for some people that have like some money in there that, you know,
Too much.
Right. Like maybe like, listen, if you started with say 10,000 and now you're at 5 million, at least sell 5%, you know,
At least take your money back, at least.
yeah, or at least take your money back. And like, you know, just to be safe, like cause you know, it's one thing when you do that and you run it up. It's another thing when you literally see millions of dollars just go to nothing. And, you know, I don't know, you know, I can't imagine the feeling of losing so much money like that. You know, I mean, obviously in crypto, you see it a lot where you see big run ups and then things go down and, you know, whatever. That's why in crypto, it's like seeing that stuff, people, I'm like, yeah, it's just another day in crypto seeing shit like that kind
Yeah,
of.
but it's not like we're just watching it go down. I mean, for me, it's like if you want to win the war, you have to know what you're fighting for.
Yeah.
So like you just remember what you're fighting for on those drops, and you just whatever.
Right.
Keep chugging on.
Mm-hmm.
Collect more, dump more cash for Bitcoin tomorrow, and we'll be all right.
See, I think it's going to be interesting to see. And I don't know how true it is with the. I think there's some truth to it that the more recent stimulus checks was a lot of the money that was being used in the Wallstreet Bets arena, at least. Maybe not specifically the GameStop trade, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see when the next round of stimulus checks come out, what people do with that money.
Oh my god!
That's what's been going on all year with the speculation on Robinhood and stuff. People just threw the money in there, free money, throw it in the casino.
And that was one of the billionaires that was interviewed. You know, I mean, he was definitely kind of trying to make the fact that, listen, guys, you can't just order people to stay home and send them money. It doesn't work that way. And then call us, say it's not fair. He definitely sounded out of touch, but like it was still. I mean, he's right. Like
It was like, what do you expect? What do you expect people to do?
What do you expect? You know,
They're desperate.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing they have to lean on.
Imagine if we could just save in our collect dollars and save in dollars, but we can't. So we're forced to go into these risky arenas and do this crazy stuff. What do you expect?
And it's playing, and right now it's paying off for a lot of these people. And you gotta, and that's why I guess we'll kind of go right into where that's kind of what happened next was since as soon as they shut those things down, now you got a bunch of people like, well, what are we gonna do next? Because so what do they do? They went to crypto, right?
It's not gonna stop. Yeah.
So they went to crypto, and guess what they bought? Guess what they bought? Maybe
The
you could
meme coin.
the world famous meme coin.
Dogecoin.
With the doggy coin.
The doggy.
I bought some doggy stocks.
Doge.
Good old Doge.
The Doge.
Apparently, these are going on like.
Ooh, look at that candle.
Well, we were. So what I was looking at with that thing was they were basically saying like, can we run this thing up to $1? Right? That's what the talk was like. And I was like, $1? Like, I was like, yeah, try to 10 cents first before you get to $1.
Yeah, let's see. Where's it been hanging out this whole time? 0.2 of a penny. Maybe 0.3 of a penny.
Yeah.
And then that day it ran up to almost 7 cents.
It got even higher. I think it was at 8 cents in like Robinhood. And Robinhood, again, guess what Robinhood did? Robinhood shut down trading.
Shut it down.
They shut it down again. This is why I sold all my stocks, all my whatever I had on there, and I withdrew it all. I said, screw this. I'm off. I'm done. I'm just out. I'm not supporting the system. I get that it's free. I get that it's easy to use, but you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I was like, F this.
No, they just spit in your face and everyone else's face.
And some people, the worst part is some people like they don't care because I was listening to I was literally glued to CNBC today, just watching some stuff, and I was like, and they were talking, and they're like, well, the people will be back. I'm like, yo, what? Like, why would you want to keep your shit on there? It's probably just because you're too lazy at that point.
A lot of people are gonna stay. I know some people that won't.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna stay.
They're like, it's free. I don't care.
It's a principle, man. Like, do you think that was wrong? Because people talk about crypto being manipulated, and it's like, oh, stocks aren't manipulated because what just happened was manipulation at the highest level, and it was clear as day. And if you are gonna sit there and say like, oh, I'm gonna stay with them, no,
Most people though, the devil you don't know is worse than the devil you do know.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's too volatile, bro. GameStop.
Not right now. Yeah, GameStop. Like
GameStonk.
Pretty sure you can't use a volatile argument after this year.
No.
Markets. And by the way, what volatility means that thing's alive. Like, of course, there's volatility. What do you want? To be dead? Just a freaking dead heartbeat going sideways forever?
Right.
I mean, the live market in action. Bitcoin is the only thing that I know of that is actually a true legitimate market. And if you open 365 can't be shut down. There's no central authorities that can stop it. It's like,
and it's getting less volatile. You can see it in this chart.
Well, right now it's still programmatic. It's not even volatile or nothing. It's kind of its own thing. Right now, because of the halving cycles, it has a programmatic printing of price.
Right.
Which is pretty.
Stock to flow.
Stock to flow, man. It's right on schedule.
Yep.
Can't knock it till it's not on course anymore.
And the thing is about volatility, right? Like, if you want to make a lot of money, it has to be, or if you want your actual wealth to increase or whatever, it's got to be volatile because like you can't have, and like they say, you can't have amazing gains and expect that your losses aren't going to be big too. Like you can't have one without the other. So like, do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want your wealth to increase a lot, or do you want it just to go up a little bit every year?
Yeah, I mean, the dollar's lost 98% of its value since its creation. Is that volatile? I don't know.
Yeah, downside.
Sounds like a garbage piece of
This is
money.
what lack of volatility looks like.
Yeah.
Looks boring. Nothing happening.
Yeah.
Right.
So like going back to a Dogecoin though, I mean, it got up to 8 cents, and a lot of new people that literally probably just bought Bitcoin or whatever in the past month are like, hey, what's his Dogecoin? What's his Dogecoin? I'm like, yo, just stay away because it's up 8 cents now. But as you look at that chart, like going back, it goes all the way up. It's got those spikes and then it goes right back down. I mean,
Yeah, immediately.
it's
Like
what?
I
Like
was
basically,
saying to Matt earlier, like I entered down here for a trade way back at this area because it dipped low, and I sold at this little pump. And I remember that was like I doubled my money or something like that from here to here.
yeah.
But now you're looking at
That's 8x probably right there.
this huge candle. If you got in
No,
8 cents,
just do me
8
a
cents.
favor though. Zoom out to $1 because that's what the people are saying, right?
Hold on, I got to
$1.
scroll for a while here.
Just to show people like where you're at if you're looking for $1.
That's the white line is $1 right there.
So this just if you're looking for $1, like that's a.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, it could happen maybe, but if that happens, I mean, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be at, right? Like,
True.
Well, what's it at now?
Tens of
5
tens
cents or
of
something
trillions.
like that?
looks like
What's the
4
supply
cents.
of Dogecoin?
I did the
Infinite,
calculation
too.
today that if a $10 Doge, that would make it $1.3 trillion market cap.
Just
So-
for Doge.
So yeah,
Right.
so divided by 10, what is that? 130 billion
But
would be $1.
look at the max supply. That's the big thing. Forget the circulating.
Nothing.
Infinite. So just remember that Bitcoin 21 million, only 21 million. Dogecoin infinite. Even Ethereum right now is infinite, right? They haven't fixed.
Technically, that's true. Yeah, I think that's true.
But at least Ethereum has a different purpose. Like Dogecoin is supposed to be like a main coin for, like, I guess for tipping, like a tipping coin, kind of like tipping your fellow Reddit users and Twitter people and stuff like that. Like, you tip them like a Dogecoin or something like that or whatever. But
I mean, if it catches
You never
a
know. I mean, the
network,
market could decide that it has some utility and end up
Okay.
using it. It's possible.
could catch a
Anything's
network
possible.
virus. Network
I saw
effect.
that Flare network we were talking about last week. That's like a DeFi network. They said they're adding Dogecoin to their network.
right, they're Doge and
So there's going to be some
and-
use there that people could use it.
Well,
If
we'll
Robinhood
see.
didn't have it on their buy option, then none of this would have happened, by the way. So
Also true.
you want to look at what Robinhood and Cash App have for sale to see what possibly could get pumped like this to prepare for
It-
next time. Maybe when these things go back under a cent.
You know what it is too, though. That's remember
Robinhood
we
bad.
talk about that human psychology, right?
Yep.
And again, they're looking at Bitcoin, $34,000 a Bitcoin. You get like a decimal place of a Bitcoin versus Dogecoin. You can get like 1,000 Doge, for what, $50 or something like that, or
I
Yep.
think way more than that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
like it's that human psychology factor, and that's a big part of it. Like, because like people want to have that. What is it called? Crypto. I forgot what the word is, but like having a whole coin. The fact of like I need to have like a whole coin, and it's like a Bitcoin. It's like I'm just getting started. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I can buy it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of a whole Bitcoin is out of reach for most people. So
Yeah, not many people have 34 G's just sitting in a bank account. Like what is it? The average American has like less than $500 savings or something.
I think it's like 50% of Americans have less than $500 in savings for an emergency.
So
Maybe
that's
60%.
So how is that? So how is some American going to sit there and have money for a Bitcoin that they don't really know anything about or whatever, and they're just going to get started? And so like they look at Dogecoin, they go, well, I can get a bunch of Dogecoin, and the price is going up sky high.
They don't, but I mean, that's where the war comes in. You would hope that the people that are holding Bitcoin right now and fighting the war is made up of better people, but not only will it be better people, it doesn't matter because the system that it's replacing is a more honest, sound, mathematically sound, thermodynamically sound system. So when you have the world running on a fair and equal money, then you could have like really great things happen, right? Now you get taken advantage of. So that's the whole point.
That's like that's why that the Bitcoin standard, right? I mean, the whole point of that versus like the gold standard, if countries actually got on that.
Yeah, and what we're all feeling is just the changing of the guard. The old system's collapsing, and all the chinks in its armor are just kind of opening up.
I agree with that. It reminds me of the word we were just talking about called volatility. It's not always showing up in a price chart. we just saw volatility in the way people were behaving in the financial markets, and then that chaos that came with it.
Yep.
As the ground is shifting under everyone's feet,
Yeah, this is all monsters that are exploding in reactions to intense suppression and intense potential energy. Right?
When you get explosive moves. Have you guys heard about, so like they were talking about AMC and GameStop as kind of going after the hedge funds and how they're operating and how they function with their shorting and market manipulation? I've seen a lot of chatter about the silver charts and the banks.
Yeah, well, there's also a thing too, right? Isn't silver have one of the biggest shorts against it?
By the banks, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of it, right? So now this is where this all kind of goes back to this Wall Street Bets thing, right? Which we could also say also Bitcoin has a big thing of shorts against it too, right? I was reading. I sent you guys the article. So
the chart you sent, yeah, it's
so
a lot of shorts out. Yes.
So if silver, which actually I think was up, I think it was like $27 today, something like that. 28, like it was going up. I was like, man, this is
25 at the moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, silver, it was like $15 like a year ago or something like that. I don't remember the exact price, but it wasn't that much.
Are you seeing this chart right here?
Is that silver? Okay.
Yeah, $15 for a long time.
Yeah. So
it even dipped lower, but yes, that was kind of the bottom-ish number.
Right. So I mean, I mean, silver is almost doubled, and silver at the all-time high was in like what is that, 40s, 50s?
Just below 50.
I think silver has potential to really move, and if Wall Street Bets decides to get into buying up the silver market, and also then when they see Bitcoin, because that's to me, once Wall Street Bets goes all in Bitcoin, like this is when they become like totally, I guess, they're like woke moment, I guess, when they start looking into Bitcoin. That's when they should be like, oh,
right there, they're so close.
You know, they're so close. Like after this whole thing, like they're going from the GameStop maybe to silver, and then they go, oh, Bitcoin, and then
they like missed Bitcoin and they went to like silver and Dogecoin. Like, come
Dogecoin, yeah, and again, I think Dogecoin goes back to the price, right? It's to me,
yeah. No, how much I've heard that and thought that in the past. Like, what if it just goes to $1? I'll be rich. Like, nah.
Right. Yeah, and it's like,
don't get your hopes up.
Bitcoin goes to $1 million, $10 million too.
100 million billion.
You know, I don't know. It's just, you look at market caps. That's why I say everybody look at the market cap, look at the circulating supply, and look at the max supply, and then you can start to get a better idea of kind of where things can go. You know,
hey, maybe they'll do silver next. I would love to watch that play out. That'd be amazing.
Right.
I don't even own any silver. I just want to sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. It's definitely. Hold on. Let me just share my screen real quick, and I'm going to show you something, because like I guess we'll go right into this part, right, where Elon Musk, right? So this is how it started. I don't know if this is coming up here, right? So Elon, a while back, was talking about Doge, you know, and like, listen, I think Doge is funny because like, look at this, man, like,
it's a meme coin.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, and this is kind of goes back to the Wall Street Bet. Like, it's basically like this memes. Like the memes have, it's so amazing. Like a picture that has like some words and some, you know, like, that's funny. Like the power of these things have.
Memes matter, man. Yep.
It's amazing, and this is where Elon comes in, and then Elon has been saying, like, talking about Doge for a while, and the last time he tweeted about it, which was like a couple months ago, it really shot up. Like people saw Doge, like one word, Doge, and like next thing you know, boom, the thing flies up. People are buying. I'm like, wow, this guy has just got tremendous amount of power. So that happened, and then I woke up this morning. It was up at like 4:00. I go on Twitter, and then I see this right here. Elon puts in his bio Bitcoin, and I'm just like, oh my God. And not only that, in retrospect, it was inevitable. And I'm just like, next thing you know, the price of Bitcoin went from like, I don't know, it was like 33.
It's like 33 to 38, something like that.
All the way, yeah, to 38. It went up $5,000 in like a drop of a hat. You know, like it was just like boom. And I was like, oh my God. And I mean, I don't. I'm just curious. Like, I love Elon Musk, and he's a genius. But I just curious. Like, is he just doing an experiment right now? Like, is he just messing with people? Is he being serious? Like, I don't know. It's just.
I feel like it's all those things at the same time.
It's just
You know?
It's just amazing, you know. Like, but if Elon does get sick, you know, this goes back to like the whole micro strategy, buying Bitcoin, Tesla, and all these other corporations that are sitting on piles of cash. Like, what if they start buying Bitcoin, or what if they've been buying Bitcoin? I'm not sure about certain companies. I think if they buy Bitcoin, do they have to make it public first before they buy, or can they privately just go ahead and buy that? Do you know anything about that?
For a publicly traded company,
Yeah,
they have to announce what they want to do to their shareholders.
shareholders. Yeah,
and
okay.
give them the opportunity that if they don't like what the future plan is, to sell their shares in an appropriate amount of time.
Does Elon own a controlling stake in Tesla?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Michael Saylor owned like a significant controlling portion of MicroStrategy.
I think
And I
he had
wonder if that
51%.
means, I wonder if then they have to actually disclose that or not, or you could just say like, I'm doing it.
Well, then it would just be a board that votes on it, and the majority of the board will vote in favor of the decision or the way that they want to go. And then they still have to announce it to the shareholders.
Okay,
Because
fair enough.
shareholders, that's the whole thing. You have to make every big decision public to them, to the shareholders. It doesn't have to be broadcasted across mainstream news, but everyone will get a letter in the mail telling you what the deal is.
And at that point, it's mainstream because, you know, some people that you could have one share of Tesla, right? And at some point, you still get information. I would be posting that like, oh man, they're buying Bitcoin. You know, next thing you know, the price of Bitcoin's flying up.
Same here. First thing I would do is buy more Bitcoin. The second thing I would do is share that message.
Yeah. Take out sell everything that I have in my house to buy Bitcoin at that point. I don't need this guitar. Like, I don't need this guitar.
Sell those swords.
Yeah, right. Everything. I don't know. This stuff I don't know if I would sell. Like Hank Aaron, man, and it's got 2 autographs on there but he just passed away recently. So rest in peace, Hank Aaron. You know,
Few
but
things. One of the kids then maybe, but no, not the Hank Aaron picture.
yeah. But you know, it's just it's just this. I feel like it's all gonna happen. I feel like this year.
It's still only January.
Yeah, it's still only January. This is Bullish tweeted that today, and I just wrote back like, "Oh my God, you're right."
It is. It's only January. It's not even. And, you know, and it's also interesting too because at the end of the month, right? That's the CME options, right? With Bitcoin, is that when everything ends at the end of the month?
It should have been today then. Today's Friday.
That was probably the big push up. Maybe, I don't know.
That could make sense.
Yeah.
Let me see. Maybe I could pull up the CME chart.
And then the close, right? They push it up, and then I guess it closes at some point, and then maybe it drops back down or dips down. I don't know. I don't follow. You know, I don't really do anything with CME.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot of selling between 35 and 39. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously.
With Elon just putting Bitcoin, and then he's got 44 million followers. Like that's getting out there, and all these other people now are putting Bitcoin in their Twitter bio. It's becoming a thing. Like, it's just.
Well, if you want to go to Mars, you got to collect capital. So he has the power of Twitter to just go long and short by the few clicks of the button.
So he could have tweeted Doge, bought Doge, watch the price run up, sell it for Bitcoin.
That's it. Then
say Bitcoin, drive the price of Bitcoin up, and then sell his Bitcoin for cash and buy more rocket ship stuff. And
yeah, he has the world.
Whatever it takes to get there.
Genius.
Here's the CME chart. I mean, that's a big wick, but it doesn't look that odd to me otherwise.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's worrisome with this chart is the gap between 24.5 and 26.2.
Right down here.
Yeah. All gaps get filled, ladies and gentlemen.
In theory.
I think
there are some back in like.
No, there's not.
Are there any?
No.
No, not in the CME.
There's none.
Not like that. If it's a small gap, maybe, but
you can see right here when the CME opened too was just after the last peak. So probably those same type of individuals, the GameStop, they just hopped in here, put in a nice short, squashed Bitcoin at the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said, right? That was their way of taming Bitcoin.
Taming
That's
the
where
beast.
you
That was
wanna
the
put
words
your
they used.
long-term buys, not financial advice, but if you wanted to just throw some bids in that 24.5 to 26.3 range in that CME gap area, could be a nice just a place to put some cheap bids, not
Yeah,
financial
put in a
advice.
buy order down there. That'd be a smart play.
Yeah,
It may not get
You know
filled,
what?
but if anything, it'll get wicked. You know.
but it'll get
Yeah.
touched.
Yeah. So I
It
mean,
looks like 24,600 to 26,000 approximately.
Yep. So
it's just
as long as that's open, I'll always be ready to endure that drop.
this whole
Oh, we got a little one down here too, Greg.
No, because it didn't. It's not
No?
off of. It's not off a previous all-time high. The all-time high was before the gap, so that's different. If you hit an all-time high and then gap above the previous all-time high, then you have a true gap.
There's never been any price action there. Okay, that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So we're ignoring this one down around
Yeah, it's not a gap
18.5.
because it's had price discovery before that. You know. So yeah, you can't just open beyond a price that you've never had any action at. Those you always get filled.
I just wonder where this is going, though. I mean, for the
I
next,
mean, you could already see it's a downtrend, right, from the peak.
yeah,
Um, there's no reason to expect it not to go further down right now. If that wick hit that previous high in the middle of these two peaks, then I would say we have momentum to the upside. But right now, it looks like there's no reason to deny that it's.
Look at this. This is the size of our candle from today. If it just went the other direction,
Yep,
you would have closed that gap. It's not that far to reach.
exactly. So it's not out of the question. Just look at
Put
it
in your
as
buy orders.
put in your buy orders, man.
Leverage it up. No, don't do that. Not financial advice.
Yeah, well, there's just so much new money coming in this area right now. You got to expect big players to try to shake them out.
Yeah, they got to shake them out before the stimmies get here and we get the next pump.
I know. Well, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen. I'm saying the CME gaps always get filled, but yeah, if they pass the $2,000 stimulus and they just pump money and start spending like crazy, I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen. But
yeah. Well, especially with this Reddit group, right? This Wall Street Bets, like all of a sudden let's say that they decide instead of GameStop, they go after Bitcoin. Forget it.
yeah,
Man, like that's when you
They already beat Bitcoin. Look at them right here.
Yeah, number 0. From
yeah.
hero to, I don't know, 0 to hero. That's straight up. Like, click that name though. Let's see it. I was anything come up?
It's loading. I got a slowish connection here. I clicked it before. There's no charts or anything. There was just a bunch of descriptive information. Untracked listing.
Memes.
Yeah, but it looks like they lay out the whole thing that happened.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to read about what happened with Wall Street Bets and GameStop, just go over to CoinMarketCap and click on the link above Bitcoin.
It's GameStonk. I like. It's just amazing. It's this like words just. These guys are literally making history. For what they've.
There's going to be movies made about today.
Yeah. This to me, like, you want to talk about Occupy Wall Street 12 years ago, and I thought it was kind of a joke in the sense of like it really didn't accomplish anything. They just banged drums.
Walking around carrying signs. It's
Yeah,
message, but it doesn't.
They didn't accomplish anything.
I remember pictures
right?
of the stockbrokers like pointing and laughing at them out the window.
Yeah, but my point is reality is they didn't really accomplish anything. This accomplished something. They destroyed multiple hedge funds. Like
Yeah.
that's a real Wall Street occupy.
Well, the Wall Street occupiers, their sentiment was correct, and working right on that street during the time. I was there like every day during the lunch breaks, and I would just try to talk with people. They were all focused on Wall Street. Now they are ganged up on Zuccotti Park, and right at Zuccotti Park, it's like the top of a fork. One side is Wall Street, the other side of the fork is Liberty Street. And on Liberty Street is where the New York Fed sits, and that's 1 or 2 blocks up from Wall Street. And that's the Fed is the one that orchestrated all the bailouts and
Right.
central banking, and it's the money that's got broken at that time. Of course, Wall Street does what it does, but at the behest and playing the games according to the rules that are set by the Fed on Liberty Street. So I'm like, you should be occupying Liberty Street,
Yes.
not occupying Wall Street. You're in the totally wrong sentiment.
Right. That's to me, that's kind of also.
And that's, you're seeing more of that play out now, and the media loves that narrative, like putting the people against the big bad Wall Street guys, just playing the game against them, and they're trying to show a different war when really they're saving face by not putting any energy on the central bank.
Just deflecting to someone else, yeah.
Exactly. They're just deflecting. So it's unfortunate to see that illusion still being bought up.
Yeah. It's just, and like you said, that's what they should be focusing on. That's what my point is with these Wall Street Bets people. Maybe that's what they should be focusing on too. Like at some point, they're gonna go down that rabbit hole, hopefully, and see. Because like, if you were on Twitter, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. There was a guy. What's his name? Hold on. Something like Wall Street. There's a Wall Street Bets CEO, I think his name is, or chair.
I think it's CEO.
Wall Street Bets chair. Hold on, let me find them out. But he was basically saying, it's not like, it's basically talking about the money. It's like it's the money. It's not the.
The money's broken.
I don't want to quote him.
Capitalism ain't broke. The money's broke.
I can't.
I see Stephen Cohen trending on Twitter. Who else is?
Oh yeah, he's definitely trending. And it's funny too. There's like a lot of billionaires are like, "Oh, I love it. This is great." And it's like you should obviously you want to say that because you don't want them to come after you either. Like you don't want to poke the bear. This is a pretty.
You see headlines like this too, just as I'm scrolling the Twitter feed. Billionaires became richer during the pandemic while workers lost 3.7 trillion.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that gets people to start getting upset.
That's basically what happened, right? I mean, a lot of people lost their jobs. They were told that they couldn't go to work. And then that's kind of what happened where a lot of these people went on their computers and just started going on Reddit and buying on the market. And then they learned the game, and they played it right. They
out of desperation because they had no other choice. And I don't think anybody wanted their lives to turn into that thing, but they didn't have any choice. And then greed sets in and desperation. And, I think things did get out of hand as far as speculation is concerned.
Yeah, but let me see. Hold on. Here, hold on. Let me show you right here. I found it. So
I almost forgot what you're looking for.
The Twitter thing. So look, right here, if you look, it says, you guys see that, right?
Yeah.
It says they can only control us because we use their currency. To me, right there, that's Bitcoin. Hello. That's
all you're going to see in the feed.
And you see, look, don't be fooled. Bitcoin is not a bubble. Bitcoin is the needle, Wall Street Bets is one step away from discovering Bitcoin. Like
the short squeeze on Bitcoin is the way to break the fiat system.
So, hey, I was the Dogecoin stuff's funny, but no, go all in on Doge, and it's like, dude, I don't even know how many how secured.
I think you're right there. I think we're right there.
It's literally we're so close, So at some point, I mean, like I said, 2021.
Pull up Ray Dalio. Did you hear about Ray Dalio? That was only like 6 months ago. He said he hated Bitcoin. It was terrible. Now he's turning around and saying like, actually, I just realized it's like the greatest invention or whatever.
Oh yeah, like the technology or something like that.
It should be one of these more recent tweets.
It's probably one that I liked.
There you go. What I really think of Bitcoin.
Yeah. But on LinkedIn.
Sentiment's shifting.
I'm writing to this to clarify what I think of Bitcoin. Please pay attention to what I'm saying here and not what those in the media are saying. I said this because this is reliable. I'm finding that those who want to promote Bitcoin, which is most people, are characterizing it one way, while those who are against it, which are a few scared souls cowering in a corner, are characterizing it another way. As with most things I comment on, the reality has pros and cons, and I am trying to be as accurate as possible to communicate what I understand these to be. To reiterate, as I am not a Bitcoin expert, I believe my views are not valuable enough to be relied on, so I shouldn't be put them out. I know how much one needs to know in order to have a valuable opinion in the markets, so I wouldn't bet on my own views. Still, people demand my non-expert assessment on Bitcoin, and clarifications in my own words are better than distortions in the media. So here it goes, presented with the warning. All right. So he said, I believe Bitcoin is one hell of an invention. To have it invented, a new type of money via a system that is programmed into a computer and has worked for around 10 years and is rapidly gaining popularity as both a type of money and a store of hold of wealth is an amazing accomplishment. That, like creating the existing credit-based monetary system, is of course a type of alchemy, i.e. making money out of little or nothing. It, like the making of credit that made bankers rich, starting with the
Medici's.
Medici's around 30. Like, listen, you guys can all read this, but this is definitely worth.
My point just being that he did a 180 in a short amount of time.
Right. It is one hell of an invention. Think about that. So,
because he sees what's going on out there too.
I mean, it's like
the tides are shifting, and you gotta get on.
It's this big snowball that's just rolling down and just gaining momentum, and just getting bigger and bigger.
That'd be a good gift to make. Like rolls over Paul Tudor Jones, rolls over Ray Dalio, just keeps rolling down the hill. Peter Schiff is just never getting hit by the snowball.
So look, everybody. I mean, it's just we keep going over this and over this. If you don't have this, if you don't own any Bitcoin, like you're really doing yourself this is not financial advice, but
look into Plan B. B being Bitcoin.
You're probably being financially irresponsible for not owning some Bitcoin. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it just and this is just a start. I mean, it's only January 2021. This whole year isn't even really. I mean, because we're talking by next year, we're saying six figures. And
yeah, what you see with these big runs, like with Doge and stuff, is just how early we still are, because there's just so many people entering the space and saying, like, how do I get this Doge stock, and like, where do I get this, and like,
shares. I love hearing that word. How many
I put BTC and TD Ameritrade search bar today, and there was this like CB something that was like 7 cents, and this other CB, like, is this the Bitcoin you were talking about? Like, there's just so many weird things, and that's fine. Like, there's still so many people that are still just starting to wake up, and there's just showing that there's demand out there still, as this whole movement continues to spread year over year.
I mean, that sounds like, to me, that the point being made to someone who's not in yet, you see the big numbers of Bitcoin and maybe feel like it's unattainable, but you're still super, super early, comparatively speaking.
You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. Just every week, put what you can. $10 a week, $20 a week, $100 a week, whatever you got.
Yeah. The old system of money is dying. It's going away.
If you can get a tenth of a Bitcoin now in 4 years, there's going to be people that can't afford a tenth of a Bitcoin anymore, ever.
Yeah,
that's the kind of things we're looking at.
Oh my God, you have a tenth of a Bitcoin, and you're like, shh, don't say anything. Like,
well, you could say it, because the security and custodial services by the time will make it feel the same way now. Like,
you can't take it. I mean, look, And also I go back again. If you're buying Bitcoin, don't buy it on PayPal. Don't buy it on Robinhood unless you decide to like trade the crap like every day to make.
I was proud of a younger person. He's like, I borrowed on Cash App and then I send it to an Exodus wallet. I'm like, that's great.
There you
As
go.
long
That's a
as you
good
buy
option.
There you
it,
go. Yeah.
as long as you buy it and you move it off a Cash App. I mean,
Yeah,
personally, my Bitcoin was hacked on Cash App. Is the only time in this space that I've ever been hacked or had a problem. Is
Send
using
it
Cash
off.
App. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
buy it and take custody of it yourself.
it's the last
And
time I used
also,
that.
you don't know if these companies really actually have that Bitcoin. That's why you want to withdraw. That's like there's a thing that Trace Mayer, who like literally disappeared. I hope he's okay. I don't know where he's been. I was always a big fan of him. He decided he had this event every year. It was called like Proof of Keys, where if you had money on an exchange, everybody should withdraw their money into their own self-custodial wallet, just to prove that these exchanges actually had the Bitcoin there, even though it, you see it there, the numbers there. I mean, look what Robinhood's going right now. Like they are having a liquidity crisis, right? Because everyone now is selling all their stocks and withdrawing it. They had to take out like $100 million loan or some crap like that. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but
Isn't part of what happened there something to do with clearinghouses? Like they didn't have enough GameStop stock to fund everything that was going on in their own platform, so they had to pull it from other platforms. I think that was part of the problem they were having.
Probably, yeah. But and this is also like I saw even with they I think they halted Bitcoin trading today. They're like, oh, it's moving too much and it's too volatile. Maybe they didn't even have the Bitcoin on there. They didn't have that Bitcoin to actually allow people to buy, and that's with Robinhood is
that was a super high volume spike. I'll go back to sharing. I could show you guys. So it could. I mean, Coinbase has had problems in the past where they're just not used to handling a certain amount of volume and traffic, but you can see how high the volume spiked.
Yeah, look at that. Probably.
So I'm not saying they do or do not have the Bitcoin, but I think the volume spike is definitely part of that. Their services kind of seizing up.
Could very well be.
I
mean, this is all.
Especially if that's on chain too, then stuff gets jammed up in the mempool.
Yeah. Look, that's why I say if you have it on Robinhood, don't buy crypto on Robinhood. Don't buy on PayPal. Don't buy on these. Just buy it on a site that you could actually withdraw it, and if you wanted to use it. So let's say I know Greg hates hearing this, but let's say I wanted to buy a boat, right? And I would sell I'd be like, all right, I want to buy the boat. What's the value? It's around 35,000 USD. And I say, all right, listen, instead of me giving you cash, I'll give you 1 Bitcoin for that boat. And they go, okay. You could literally just send them 1 Bitcoin to their wallet and make the transaction. But if you have 1 Bitcoin on Robinhood or PayPal, and they say, all right, 1 Bitcoin, and they go, okay. Oh, I can't send it to you. What's going on? It's because you really don't have a Bitcoin. You just all paper. It's not really, that it's not the same, and
Fugazi.
Right. You don't know if it's real or not. You don't know. At least if you have it in your own wallet, you can literally know that it's there because it's there, the blockchain. It's all, you could go on I forgot the name of Blockchain Explorer or whatever and look, and you could see it there, and you could see that the guy that you sent the Bitcoin to, that you can see that he received it, because you could be like, oh, I never got that Bitcoin you sent me. And be like, yeah, I see you got it, and I see that you sent it to another wallet. So don't, it's you could, you could verify that these things are going on. Just, hey, if you don't have Bitcoin yet, I don't know what you're waiting for.
At least start doing some research.
I mean, and
wait for that CME gap to close.
Yeah, you could, but at this maybe you should, but maybe that's where you have like a big chunk of money that you're waiting to buy that with. But maybe in the time being, just do weekly small buys and just stack sats.
Oh, for sure. Everybody should be taking their paycheck, pay their expenses. Well, actually, you should take your paycheck, divide it by 2, divide it by 7, and that should be your daily contribution.
Not financial advice.
Hopefully that other half of your paycheck you should be able to live off of. And if you can't, then I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to sound like too.
Yeah, no, we understand. Or
like,
just cut your expenses. Maybe if you go out to lunch a lot at work every day and you're spending $15 on lunch, maybe you go to the supermarket and buy cold cuts and make your own sandwiches for a week.
yeah,
Or
like you really only need like $10. Like $10 a
yeah,
week to
just
save.
just get off zero, right? That's I think are kind of our main uh saying, like, or whatever. Just get off zero.
Very true. Get off zero.
And then at that point, then you go,
Take on a
okay,
life of its own.
right. And then you
When
go,
you
oh,
see your savings growing in dollar value overnight, it'll start to inspire you to get into more.
Right. It's savings technology, right? What's his name? Pierre Richard says.
yeah. I mean, it's based off of Austrian economics, right? Where saving is, and what is it like?
Saving is rewarded.
Right, and low time preference. Where if you save for the future, you'll benefit better than having getting something and instantly want to have self gratification. Instant gratification.
Delayed gratification
Right,
is why you earn from savings.
and you're rewarded for that.
Exactly, because you're
It's a good thing. Where the system that we're in right now, where it's like, oh, they want everybody to spend, put yourself in debt.
you want everyone a heroin addict.
Yeah,
They want everyone a fucking heroin addict.
that's it. It's a very similar kind of way where it's like you need more and more and more. I mean, that's basically like with the Federal Reserve, like pumping out money, more and more money, just to kind of support the system that's going on. And sooner or later, like you're just gonna have to pull them off that thing and let them go through withdrawal or whatever, and then after that you're off of it. And that's the thing, is the more the system continues and continues to inject more money, whatever prints more money, it's going to be a bigger downfall. You're just getting pushed higher and higher up the
Getting more and more and more pressure, and you get a bigger and bigger move afterwards.
Yeah. So like
MACD's looking good in Bitcoin, the daily chart.
Yeah.
See the histograms curling upwards, and it's starting to get a lighter red.
Histogram, and it's above zero, which is what you want to see. The most important thing is for it to turn back up above zero. But it's not bumping above zero. Looks like the red line dipped. It is a negative 400 now. Yeah, I was hoping for that to curl up above zero.
What are you looking at?
MACD.
What's above zero? The histogram?
no, MACD.
Yeah, the histogram is below zero.
Yeah.
Moving averages are above it. On the daily, anyway. On the daily, on the CME, anyway.
Well, go back to that MACD real quick. Oh, you're looking at the CME chart. That's not updated. You're gonna want to look at the. Let me see.
DLX.
Actually, no, you're right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. If look at the regular BTC USD MACD.
They're just above zero.
Go to like a current one that's running live right now, like Coinbase or something. Binance.
It's Binance.
Binance. Yeah. Open up that MACD on the daily. So you see how it's curling up, and it's the blue and the orange are above zero.
Yeah.
That's like the healthiest momentum that you could get. Like if those went below zero and then cross back up, there's going to be a lot of resistance at that zero mark. But if we could curl up and have another blue over orange cross above zero, that's really bullish. That's what
just like we saw before. If you see those green,
you want to see something like this?
There.
Yep, that's exactly what you want to see. That's what I'm rooting for. As far as momentum goes, nice to have that momentum at your back if we catch some support here on this drop to 33K.
Look what happened last time.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at before.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
Yeah, so if we maybe go over some of these charts real quick, and then go over some price Also, with our price predictions, what do we say with 40s, 38,000?
Oh, I think I'm way off. Yeah, so last time we got that MACD cross we were just looking at was when we broke through 20,000, basically.
Okay. Yep.
Right here.
Would you look at that?
So get that MACD cross, back to the moon. Maybe Mars this
Yeah.
time with Elon.
That'd be a big one. That'd be a big one.
Actually, and I was, Max Kaiser, he was saying something like with the current situation, he was like, yeah, I'm looking at 65,000 right now.
Yeah, in like the next month or two.
Yeah.
It's still January, fellas. Yeah.
What do you want to look at, Matt?
No, I just figured let's go over the charts we were kind of talking about before.
Ethereum USD still looks about the same. This is the weekly.
Yeah, that's just been sitting. I mean,
it's due for a move. Look at this pattern. This is due for an explosive move.
like a cup and handle, right? Almost.
Yeah,
Like
that's pretty much what you're looking at, in my opinion.
right.
Here's Ethereum, Bitcoin. So this is like, this almost looks like it's retesting this resistance. Having a hard time with this freaking controls. Almost looks like it's retesting resistance there and there. It broke through, came back, and this looks like, to me, you'd be trying to go target a move. I'm making a mess on this chart. What, 0.05 Satoshis on the breakout? Doge, I think we already looked at Doge.
Well, we looked at Doge USD. I don't know about Bitcoin, but
This is the Bitcoin chart, which is weird. Doge has like almost like a heartbeat pattern. This is one of the strangest, I don't want to say strangest charts in crypto. It almost looks artificial.
it's because they get these these like cyclical short-term pumps, and then it just dumps back down. And you look right at all of them; it's all the same.
Yeah.
These big wicks, right? Look at that. Like
Meme dumps.
it's like
Doge USD has never been this high, not even close. Nowhere near $1, and it never will be.
I never say never. I mean, if the dollar goes to shit, what the hell's the?
I guess that's the only way.
Right.
GameStop. Look at this beauty.
GameStop.
What was that a year ago? Pre like right after COVID, like let's say April, because we can't.
What am I on here?
April 2020. Oh my God! Look at that. Long dick right there.
I don't even know what to.
Oh my God!
Where are we going? April 20.
Yeah, what was that? $10? No,
You got to bounce back then. It bounced
like
up to 550,
oh my God, $5 a share.
but it bottomed out at $3.
Oh man, you
Bottomed
literally
out at $3, and it just topped out at $500.
what was that 10,000% from there?
Oh, I don't know. Where's my little ruler?
It's 100x. It's 10,000% more than that. It's like holy sh. Hey man, anybody that had been getting like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be some GameStop employees. Like I don't.
20,000%.
I was like, Greg. I don't know if I was telling you. I was telling Jeff. I was saying that I actually called GameStop yesterday. Not the store, like corporate, because I wanted to return something. Because like I ordered something in December and it just never came. It was like a used game, a Marvel game, and I was like, I don't need this thing anymore. Like whatever. So I called him up and I was like, yeah, I want to return my game, whatever. And he's like, all right, thank you. He's like, is there anything else I can help you? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm just curious, as employees at GameStop, do you guys get like stock offering plans and stuff like that? And he's like, we really can't discuss that. I was like, all right. I was like, well, if you do for any reason, I was like, I just recommend maybe taking some profits. Because like, think about it. Imagine if you were in a GameStop for like 5-10 years at $5 a share, and your stock literally 100x. Like they're probably like, think about it. There are probably some guys that like, think about it. There are probably some guys that worked at GameStop that are millionaires now.
Right.
Like think about it. Like, because if you worked at GameStop for 5-10 years and you had a stock plan and maybe you had $10,000 worth of GameStop, and then it rode up, like you're literally a millionaire right now. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
If you knew any better to do anything with it. I have a funny feeling that's not true because I haven't heard any stories of any of that happening.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I would hope
Like all of a sudden, all their employees quit at the same time because they're rich.
No, you just like to hear good stories like that. Where
I would like to hear that story. That'd be a great story to hear.
Somebody that maybe just worked like as a manager in GameStop.
Yeah.
Scraping by, 'cause I don't know how much GameStop pays, but I'm assuming that it's not like the best salary. And they had some shares of GameStop because they had a good company stock purchase plan. And next thing you know, this guy's a millionaire. Like, I just hope that these people that all of a sudden become millionaires, at least they're like, all right, let me take some profits of what I have, because sooner or later, unless, and another thing too is GameStop is like, I would hope as a company, because I like GameStop. I shop there all the time. Not all the time, but whenever I buy video games, I would go there. And I've noticed like a lot
Hi
of
there. I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Hi, Cortana.
A little.
All right, my computer's finally rebooting that I've been rebooting all day.
That's fine. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I just like I said, I just hope that if you do have stock from that and you work there, like hopefully these people take some profits and like maybe buy a house or something like that.
Yeah, make some life-changing money, hopefully.
Yeah, because
that'd be a good feel-good story.
And I also would hope that like the chair, the board of those companies are looking at the equity that they have in their company now, which is like I think 20 billion or whatever, and maybe they should, do some evolving with the company and maybe.
That's a positive spin to put on. I remember when Hertz went bankrupt early in the COVID thing, and then people ran the stock price up, and it gave Hertz like a new lease on life. They issued new stocks.
Yeah,
might be able to turn that company around.
I just don't want to see them become like a blockbuster.
I'll say a prayer for you. But even me, like any of the little gaming I do is on a PC. I'm not going into GameStop. I don't.
Right. No, I hear you. But like, it's the same thing with Toys R Us. Like, I have young kids. Like, you want to, like, just going to Toys R Us was always like, as a little kid, like that was such a cool thing. And now you can't even do that. So
millions of toys in there. Yeah.
And GameStop is pretty cool. I mean, like, if you're a gamer and like you go in there and you see thousands of games and stuff, and it's like, back to see that.
Yeah, that's cool. Some of the game swag too. When I'm in the mall, I walk through GameStop sometimes, and I still see some of the old, like Final Fantasy VII action figure or something. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Because like once they're gone, all you have left for actual physical brick and mortar stores is like Target and Walmart. So is that what you want? Is that what you really want to support?
That'd be all you got.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about wrapping this one up? I'm getting sleepy, guys.
No, that's fine. You guys have anything else to say?
Yeah.
Did we just wake you up, Greg? What happened?
No. I was just looking at the chart.
Hey man, it's hypnotizing the shit that's going on right now.
Bitcoin chart.
It's hypnotizing.
You got anything to share on your Bitcoin chart? Anything jumping out at you?
I mean, honestly, guys, I'm really like focused on that CME gap. Looks like we're gonna probably hit that.
We are trending towards it, that's for sure.
Share screen. Let's take a look at the good old Brave new coin chart. I actually just created. Oh man. Okay, let's just go to the regular Bitcoin chart. Come on. Nice. I freeze everything out here. This is, what are we?
Price did dip too just recently. I mean, it's at 33 now. So it literally just spiked up and spiked down. So I wonder what that was all about. That maybe was to do with the
like those SpaceX ships. They take off and then they just come and land again.
Yeah.
So 12 and 26 moving averages are looking pretty healthy on the daily charts. We're holding this 12 moving average pretty nicely. Just little retrace back to it. Going back, the last time we broke down was at the 10K area. So we've been holding that pretty nice. No concerns there. On the B bands,
that's Bollinger.
These are getting pretty tight. Bollinger bands with another 12 and 26 moving average, which we just popped off the bottom of the band into the mid zone, finding some support in the mid area here, which is what you'd want to see hold. It's putting pressure on that point right now. You can see it popping off a little bit. See which way it goes. No real play there. VPVR, again, no surprise. The mean range is right above where we're popping. So if we could find support right along this high volume area, VPVR kind of shows where the most was bought at that price. So this is like the average most action.
You would call that like a liquidity zone? Is that the right terminology?
I don't think it's a liquidity zone. A liquidity zone would probably be more of like, a range of where things kind of come in to dip. Like
I see where the wicks are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a liquidity zone where it just kind of comes in and eats it up. But this would just be like a support. That's actually shows support here because there was a lot of buying and selling here. So we should, if we break above it, come back down support and look to bounce off that. So VPVR, no real concerns there. TD sequential, no 9 candles sticking out like Tone Vase likes. Volume was really big today, which, there's no surprise with all the stuff going on. We have a lot of volume, but as far as it being a very high volume without being at an all-time high or low is kind of really peculiar and interesting that I never really seen before. A high volume bar like this in the middle of a range.
There is a lot going on. I hadn't considered either. Not only is it the end of a week CME closure, it's the end of month, the end of day, the end of week.
Yeah.
Everything going on with the GameStop thing this week. Elon Musk putting that Twitter thing out.
Yep.
There's a lot of factors involved there.
Looking at the RSI, I mean, we're in a perfectly healthy average range. Nothing to really clue in there. We already talked about the MACD. I'm pretty excited to see if we can get this momentum cross above 0. Other than that, check out my favorite handy dandy Ichimoku cloud. Everything is still bullish as far as my 4 indicators, as far as having a bullish cloud, taking over the key June, price above cloud, and the lagging span above cloud. That's all in good order. Found support on the key June, bounced off, rejected off the Tekken line, which is actually starting to curve down, which is a first sign of things maybe just consolidating, but nothing to be alarmed yet. Anything under these moving averages, the Ticket and the key June, is kind of buy opportunities, because if you buy under them, you still have the opportunity to get out when they actually make the cross. Something like out here, like anything under these lines is a buy opportunity. I mean, going into the cloud is a little different, but even if you bought underneath these moving averages and then you saw this cross, you could still kind of get out. You see that?
Before you get crushed.
Yeah. So you should look at it as a buying opportunity under these moving averages. And then once it crosses, that's kind of like your stop. But overall looks pretty good. Looking a little bit of a wider time frame. I mean, monthly is just kind of crazy. I don't like this long wick that we're going to finish January with. Maybe we get a nice push this next couple days. We can make it look a little prettier, but a high volume monthly bar with a long top wick is not a healthy looking candle. That's all the evidence from the monthly chart. 2-week chart, we have a candle within the previous candle, so we're obviously in just a consolidation equilibrium pattern, building some potential energy for the next leg up or down.
When does that candle close?
This one,
is it this Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So as long as it stays within the top and bottom wicks, the next 2 weeks will just be further consolidation. You'll see that evidence here. High, low, lower high, higher low. 6-day chart. Sometimes I like to look at the 6 days instead of like, what everyone else is looking at as far as monthly, weekly. If you do some like weird ones like six days or 3 days, sometimes they can give you different clues that maybe other people aren't looking at.
I've seen that too. Eric Crown's Crypto Cave, he does that.
Yep.
He goes through a lot of different like odd little time frames. 2 month, 2 day.
But obviously, Bulls own the monthly, they own the 2 week, they own the weekly, they own the 6 day, they own the 3 day, still holding above everything. Daily, we're in a neutral bull zone. Nothing to be alarmed about yet. You could literally drop down to 29 still and still be kind of fine. Not that we would want to see that, but here's the interesting chart where things start getting some clues. Even if we go to the 16-hour, you're seeing the Bears taking control here. The Bears have control on the 16-hour because they got the TK cross. We're falling back into the cloud. Switching to Heikin-Ashi candles kind of shows further easy clarity of the direction that we're in right now.
So I guess that implies like in the lower time frames, it's starting to creep into the higher time frames as being bearish.
Exactly. So you can start to see where the bulls are losing the battle.
I guess that's where you would kind of eye, hopefully, a turnaround too.
Yeah, so you'd want to turn around at least on the 16-hour, and then you could check down on the 12-hour and see how they're doing there, which 12 and 16 is pretty much the same. So 12 hours pretty popular, half a day chart. This just isn't looking the best. Heikin-Ashi is more reliable as far as the candles entering the cloud. I mean, Heikin-Ashi, Ichimoku cloud, it's all the Japanese style goes together. Which I was super surprised. This is where I had a short trade taken out when we had the second Heikin-Ashi candle close bearish. I shorted for an opportunity to catch price on the opposite side of the candle, the opposite side of the cloud, which I just missed by like maybe $100. You
got to front run it a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always hit the other side of the cloud. Every time it ever entered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could trace it back. It's like pretty reliable indicator. Which, hey, just like what I saw on the 4-hour, we creeped out of it a few times, and then bang, we went through it, which we could show you back here. Came in, came out, came in, came out, came in, came out, and then crashed right through it. And then last week we talked about that Kumo twist, the cloud twist, which I was hoping we can maybe break through, but that we failed that. But now Elon with his tweet pushed us straight through this bear cloud, and now we are coming back inside and consolidating and trying to figure out some space here. So the bulls and bears are battling it out right now pretty hard. Lower time frame, 1 hour, bulls are hanging on for dear life. Lost the 15, so right now we just have the hourly. So between the hourly and the 12-hour is where some interesting things are happening. But no surprises here. I'm going to wait for CME gap to close before I get too excited about the current prices.
Makes sense. I guess that would fulfill your idea of hitting the bottom of the cloud then too. So that would kind of close that for you. I almost feel like you felt like that's unfinished business or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably was trying to allude to that, but I forgot. Just going back here.
Yeah, just because it didn't happen yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Right. So, I mean, the bottom of this cloud here is 28,950, but I mean, you're most likely going to see it come through, consolidate below the cloud, and then, hopefully not too bearish of a time down here in the mid-20s before we recoup and come back through the cloud and break up further. I know everybody wants to get rich quick, but this is kind of a slow grind, price discovery zone, building up some more.
Well, how do you define quick? What has it been like 2 weeks?
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like a long time. It's still only January, but
It works in pumps, this stuff. The only difference of this cycle from the last is on the ground, things are much worse. In 2017, sentiment on the ground of everything going on in the world, it's way, way, way worse than
Yeah.
the previous 2 cycles. So, I know I want these CME gaps filled and, get some cheaper prices to load on some more fiat, but nothing's guaranteed. But that's the scoop, guys.
Cool. Thanks for the TA update. Pretty thorough.
Yeah, no problem.
You definitely helped me get more familiar with the Ichimoku cloud, and it's nice to see a different perspective on things too.
Yeah, it's fun. I definitely like the charts. Trying to stay unemotional about it. I don't really trade them too much, but when I do, it's good. It's good to follow some strategies that fit with your personality type, and Ichimoku Cloud is one that fits with me.
Yeah, very good.
All right.
Good stuff.
Well, I guess that wraps it up for this week. And I guess I'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, gentlemen. Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye.